Donovan was a special, special child in our life. He was a very, very honest, kind, loving young man. He really brought everybody together in the family because he was the baby, of course. He won everybody's heart. So I remember when he was young, a baby, when he cries, everybody just stormed out from their rooms to come and pacify him, okay? So it seems like my husband and I, we were not the parents. The kids were like Donald and Nancy, Jennifer, and Franslin. So they really, you couldn't say no to Donovan. That's how charming he was. Whenever you want to say no, he will just go around and say, Mommy, come on, Daddy, come on. And he just gave in. And he was such a good child. It's hard to say no to Donovan. He was that special to us. Donovan had a horrible experience after the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas incident, where he went into deep depression because he lost a whole lot of friends. And that really, I think he had what they called survivor's remorse. He always thinking that, why was it wasn't him? Why was his friends instead? So that put Donovan in that sense of guilt, and he became so depressed. And with the depression, he couldn't do anything. He just gave in life. He didn't want to go to school. At some point, he didn't want to come out of his room. He didn't want to eat. His hygiene was gone, and that's not my son. That was never my son. And after a while, when depression sits for too long, that turns into something even deeper. So at the end, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. And of course, we sought help. We took him to psychiatrists, therapists. He was on medication. But with schizophrenia, you don't have any control of yourself at some time. So therefore, you hear voices that are giving you some negative commands. And he gave in. And he committed suicide via gunshot. We noticed that he wasn't himself. So we had a protective clause on him stating that he was not allowed to purchase any firearms, any weapons. But for some reason, I don't know how, but he got access to purchase a gun, which we need to look into to find out how that could have been prevented, because that was absolutely, absolutely unacceptable. The loss was astronomical. It's like there's a void now that nothing can fill. So when you wake up in the morning knowing that your child is not where he's supposed to be, that really affects you. So our family is very, very taken by this, because Donovan was the baby, and he played such an important role in our lives. So the void that he left is just like, how can you replace that? How? But we're trying, we're striving to move forward, but it's not an easy task at all. What I can say about gun violence, it shouldn't have to happen, because the communities need to be educated. Something needs to be put in place, especially when we're talking about some mental health instability, because we have to educate the community to learn to spot the signs, because sometimes they're not visible. But as you get to know your child after a tragic, moment in their lives, you need to be a little bit more cautious to their environment, how they act, what they say, so we can, jump in and try to help them as soon as possible and as much as possible. What I would like to say to those legislators, just to open their eyes a little bit wider, because we are losing our youth, and they can make a difference in their life by bringing some policies that can help to safeguard these kids, because they have the power to do so. If they're willing, they can do it. Open their eyes.